At the beginning of the 20th century, at the time when the first radio station was founded in Europe, a discovery was made in Poland which influenced the development of information technology across the world. A new branch of mathematics was developed in Poland by Stefan Banach. For example, if it wasn't for Stefan Banach's functional analysis, modern methods of image compression, such as JPEG, wouldn't be possible. What's more, we might not have computers at all. There would probably be no computers if it were not for another Polish scientist. The method of producing single crystals of silicon, invented by Jan Czochralski in 1916, is used by the world's largest manufacturers of diodes, transistors, or chips for integrated circuits. In the same period, other Polish scientists revolutionized the rules of programming. Jan Łukasiewicz, in 1917, introduced a parenthesis-free notation for forming mathematical expressions, widely known as the Polish notation. Without Alfred Tarski and his master Stanisław Leśniewski, who invented the most famous notation in computer languages, I++, the development of computer science would have probably been completely different. The breakthrough achievements of Polish scientists do not only belong to the past, but continue into the present. Today, Poland is one of the top destinations in the world for investments in STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. As far as the number of research and development centers and the employment in the modern services sector are concerned, Poland is the regional leader. In the years 2014 to 2020, 420 research and development centers were created, in which new product concepts and the technologies for their production are developed.
The labor market in Poland is extremely dynamic as far as IT experts are concerned. On one hand, you meet people here who are highly qualified, who gained international experience. On the other hand, it is our export product, and we do observe huge trend and competition among the companies to absorb talents. I do believe it's not only about technical skills, soft skills, understanding the digital transformation. Living the so-called digital mindset is equally important. And I do believe those two things, high level of education, accessibility to the talent, but also this entrepreneurial spirit, they build the climate for the development in the country.
It is the employees who are at the driving force of the ICT industry and who attract foreign investors. Polish specialists hold third place in the best developers in the world ranking. They are among the most industrious and talented programmers in the world. Many of them made a name for themselves as creators of computer games. Some of the most recognizable titles on the global gaming market have been created by Polish studios. The creators constantly cross new technological boundaries and set new trends. Currently, there are 470 companies involved in the production of games in Poland. As many as 43 of them are quoted on the Warsaw Stock Exchange. In October 2020, the Warsaw Stock Exchange became the world leader in the number of game dev companies listed. In 2020, the industry revenues amounted to 969 million euros. It is worth noting that no other sector in the Polish economy is developing so rapidly. In 2020, the Polish gaming industry finally reached the state in which more units were exported than imported. Game production is the only Polish creative and cultural industry to have achieved this. According to world estimates, this has been the case in only a few countries in the world. An important sector related to the computer games industry is esports, a relatively new branch in Poland. However, it is developing very dynamically. Usually associated with entertainment, it is actually much more. It creates space for professional development.
Myślę, że największym atutem polskiego e-sportu jest to, że mamy bardzo duże doświadczenie, jeżeli chodzi o realizację wielu produktów. Przez ostatnie lata w Polsce powstało wiele profesjonalnych podmiotów, zarówno z perspektywy organizatorów rozgrywek, jak i z perspektywy samych zawodników. Cała scena bardzo mocno się profesjonalizuje. Mamy doświadczenie w przeprowadzaniu dużych eventów, w tworzeniu produktów o masowej skali, które są wzorem i przykładem nie tylko dla Polski i polskich fanów, ale także są unikalne na skalę europejską oraz światową. Myślę, że jako rynek jesteśmy bardzo dojrzali w kontekście sportu. Mamy też bardzo dużą rzeszę fanów, którzy potrzebują e-sportowych i gamingowych rozrywek. No i przede wszystkim wiele produktów, które mamy tutaj, jest słynne już nie tylko w skali właśnie europejskiej, ale też z całego świata.
Since 2013, an event called Intel Extreme Masters IEM has been organized in Katowice, one of the most important annual esports events in the world. In 2022, the 10th anniversary edition was held here. The online viewership peaked at 1.1 million. Games and esports benefited from the mobility restrictions associated with the pandemic. 46% of the Polish esports audience said they watched esports for the first time in 2020 or 2021. Poland is an EU leader when it comes to mobile broadband services. The rapid development of infrastructure, especially the readiness to build a 5G network, will have a positive influence on the development of not only esports, but also smart solutions and the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is a connection via the Internet of devices that communicate with each other, collect and share data, and learn. Consumers are enthusiastic about new technologies, and they make use of smart solutions in their homes. However, smart solutions will be most beneficial to institutions such as public transport and traffic management companies, offices and public services, energy and urban infrastructure operators, and healthcare providers. The 5G network will enable the simultaneous operation of up to 1 million devices connected to the internet per 1 square kilometer. Artificial intelligence is the source of many so-called consumer insights. By looking at the needs of customers, companies get to know better those who buy their services or get information about their competition. Consumers may feel under surveillance, but is this really the essence of AI?
I do think that artificial intelligence is a technology that has two potential directions. One can be sort of harmful for us, and that's something that many people are afraid of, but the other one is definitely positive. So AI can obviously surveil us, and it's very bad when it does happen so. But on the other hand, artificial intelligence can be a way, for instance, to find new therapies, can be a way to diagnose people in a more efficient way, can be a way to optimize certain processes, to become more ecologically friendly. Artificial intelligence in Poland is very rapidly developing. First of all, we have a great talent pool of talented programmers, data scientists, and machine learning specialists who are actively working and reshaping the sector of AI in Poland. The other thing is that we have very interesting implementation of artificial intelligence in agriculture, in the medical sector, and in logistics. And that's something that will be growing in the next years. We will also see more medium-sized and small entrepreneurs using artificial intelligence. So I think the prospects are rather bright.
The development of the Internet of Things has been of great interest to the Polish government. The Working Group for the Internet of Things has been established at the Ministry of Digital Affairs, which has delivered a report indicating the most important application of IoT devices. Their implementation could radically change the Polish economy, which could become one of the most innovative and profitable in Europe. Poland ranks first among the countries of Central and Eastern Europe and 7th in the European Union in terms of the number of experts working on the development or implementation of artificial intelligence. The quality of services provided is one of the reasons why Poland has become highly trustworthy for investors. Significant developments are taking place in technological innovations in the financial sector. This diverse area contributes to the dynamic development of the Polish economy. On the one hand, there are applications that allow people to effectively manage their home budgets. make daily payments, get loans, and on the other hand, there are those for currency exchange, business support or capital market investments. In 2021, Polish Fintech companies recorded an increase in revenues by almost 25% compared to the previous year.
Polish financial ecosystem is very diverse and is a mix of very different institutions. Small startups, traditional but innovative banks, but also international financial institutions that decided to set up here in Poland their operations. Many of them are very human intensive and create additional value for economy. Very important part of Polish financial ecosystem is Fintech ecosystem. Poland is regional hub of Fintech, where almost 300 Fintech companies create, implement and sell cutting-edge technology.
Similarly to the previous year, the payments sector was the most represented one in the Polish fintech landscape in 2021. Consumers often use fintech solutions without even realizing it. For example, when paying bills online or making cashless transactions. Interestingly, using your mobile phone is not the only option when it comes to cashless payments anymore. One Polish startup allows you to pay with the iris of your eye. Also, you can pay for the motorway with your car. Modern cloud infrastructure located in Poland has been especially beneficial for the financial services industry, which has ambitions to move to the next stage of its development and become part of a new generation financial center. The existing cluster of cloud regions, Polish Digital Valley in Poland, built by global technology companies and based on cooperation with local partners, also has a positive impact on the other sectors of the economy. Cloud development is treated very seriously.
By going into cloud, you optimize the way you work. You transform your company. You do leverage all the benefits of the cloud. Faster computing, possibility to use AI, possibility to connect different IoT devices, you name it, because it depends on the industry you're in. You are moving faster, you're selling better, you are more wise about what you do. And this is what the cloud enables for. When it comes to cloud, Poland is a weird country, a weird market. And this is because, on one hand, we have plenty of absolutely brilliant, great cloud engineers. At the same time, Poland, when it comes to cloud adoption, is lagging behind its peers. So on one hand, we have great supply. On the other hand, the demand is only to rise. And that makes it a very interesting place for companies like mine.
In 2020, 24% of enterprises in Poland used cloud services. Thus, Poland was below the EU average. However, in the last 2 years, the use of the cloud has more than doubled, which means that the potential of the Polish market is still large. In recent years, the issue of automation of production processes by implementing robots has been given thorough attention. Robots are no longer the future. They are becoming a necessity in many companies. Supervised by man, they ensure repeatability and reduced production time. In 2019, Polish industry was ranked among the top 15 countries, with the largest number of new industrial robots for the first time in history.
Pandemic accelerated digital transformation massively, and each sector developed in its own pace. As you can imagine, each sector was in a different momentum on their digital journey and required different technologies to implement. One of the biggest sectors in Poland is manufacturing. Of course, pandemic times caused a lot of turbulences. People being on quarantine, during lockdowns, factories unable to assure the continuity of the processes. Therefore, robotization was a must. And robotization doesn't mean replacement of people. It really means requirement for totally new skills that are needed to support the implementation of new technologies. How it worked, I think not bad, because Polish manufacturing industry recorded very high growth in the Q4 of 2021, which was 17%.
According to data from the latest report of the International Federation of Robotics, in 2020, the number of new installations of industrial robots worldwide was 0.5% higher than a year earlier and reached 384,000 units. This is the third highest result ever. For the first time, the most automated industry was the electrical and electronics industry. Poland has an international reputation, not only for its game developers, but also companies creating software on request. In Poland, the IT industry generates revenues of 85 billion zlotys. Approximately 55 billion zlotys is allocated to the software and IT services sector, which accounts for approximately 2/3 of the entire IT industry in our country. This share is systematically growing and is soon going to exceed 70%. What makes Poland so successful in this field?
Well, it's because our engineering capabilities are just phenomenal. And this is because of a couple of reasons. One, we've got more than 500 universities that prepare a really great background, mathematical background for our future engineers. Two, we've got a lot of phenomenal software companies that invest heavily in young talent and help them to be prepared for their future roles. Three, a lot of kids in between the age of 2 and 5 have already experience in somehow playing with programming languages that actually make them curious about their future education and growth path as well. And last but not least, we've been through a hardship times when it comes to our political history that taught us insane work ethics and also being able to have a mindset of being problem solvers, even for the problems that other things that might be unsolvable.
The software and IT services segment has seen a particularly dynamic growth in recent years, exceeding 12% per year. This is one of the best sector results, twice as good as the average for the Polish economy at the same time. The development of the ICT industry in Poland results from a combination of global trends. It invests in the rapid development of digital technologies. It also takes on the challenges of digitization and automation, in which it has the support of state policies. The increase in the number of companies and good financial results, despite the COVID-19 pandemic, testify to the dynamic development of the IT sector in Poland.
People is the most important factor any nation has, and there is no difference in Poland in that respect as well. Everything started on the verge of 18th, 19th century when the most famous Polish mathematics school has been established. It has been carried through the 20th century, and now in the 21st century it yields young talent, students, people who are involved in developing software, in creating R&D, working for development of the newest technologies. Does it have impact on our economy? Yes, of course. 22 billion euro of IT has been created in Poland yearly. Out of each 16 is software and services. Does it have impact worldwide? Yes. 9 billion euros is export, benefiting for the other countries. And if you think about the future, and if you think about the potential of these young people, think about the openness and atmosphere for startups in Poland, which is one of the most favorable in the world.
The successes of the Polish ICT industry were presented at Expo 2020 Dubai in one of the zones of the Polish pavilion, and the new technologies and digitization were discussed during the Polish Arab Economic Forum and business seminars.
The ICT market has taken up the challenges related to the digitization and the automation of the process and the full support of state policy. The dynamic development of the IT sector in Poland, even despite the COVID-19 pandemic, can be seen by the increase in the number of companies in this field and their good financial standing. We have the largest number of developers in the CEE region, over 500,000 people. Poland is a real leader in this respect, as shown not only by statistics, but also by the quality of the services provided by Poles. Polish developers are real experts. The success of the Polish ICT industry could also be seen as part of Expo 2020 Dubai. The topic of new technologies and digitalization was also discussed during the Polish Arab Economic Forum and numerous business seminars held as part of Expo. We are sure that all these activities will result in attracting even more investors to Poland.